Yo, 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 it's X. It's 2023, and it's What's Out Media.
Great.
Today, I got my man, Merrick Johnson, man. How are you, brother?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. How you doing, bro?
Doing very well. Merrick is up there in MA, Massachusetts. We're going to talk to him about his grind, about how he's such a creative. We're going to talk to him about his art gallery. We're going to talk to him about some of the art that he has right now that is for sale. We're also going to talk to him about his process and how he is like such a great writer. Um, just a side note, we filmed in the middle of the pandemic, uh, but Zoom messed us up. So, you know what I'm saying? We're redoing this, and I'm glad to have you. And it's been a few years, so both of us have had some growth since then. So
What?
it's amazing. It's amazing, Merrick. So just let the people know what's going on with you, man.
What's going on? Oh well, as of lately, I got a paint night coming up, August 18th. A few vendors coming up, few vendors events coming up. So I know some of y'all folks might not be from the Boston area because my man was originally from Cleveland. So whoever's watching needs to stop by and come up spin a bag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Merrick, let's go back to the beginning. Like you were last time we talked, we were both in school or finishing up school. It sounded like Merrick. Tell the people what your origin story is.
Well, my origin story is from Mass. I was born in Boston, of course, moved to Randolph, started doing school in Lowell, UMass Lowell, graduated 2023, of course. Now I'm just, finding my way, doing this whole business thing, doing the whole writer thing that you mentioned. Thank you for bringing that up because it's been a while since I even touched a book because I've just been focused on my business. Um, because you gotta do one thing at a time. So I kind of put that to the side, but not really, just because I'm trying to get my small business on the ground.
And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You always, at times, you got to put your energy towards one thing for it to have some growth. But can we talk about that transition? Like, when did you decide, like, you know what, I've done really well. Like, I've written a few, books, and now I want to try to grow this business. What made this business, what made this business come to mind, I guess?
So basically, what made the business come to life is just because they said that you got to turn your passions into something. You got to make something out of it instead of just sitting there with it. So I know I'm not an artistic person. I know I'm not very much of a painter, drawer, but I am a writer. But that's just like a half of it. So really, I just said if I can't do a certain thing, I'm going to make money off of it. And that's really where the business came from. Just because I have a good amount of knowledge within the art realm and all that. So I really just said, fuck it, let's get it
Now,
going.
now, did you also have really good connections within the art community?
A little bit. I just started this business just like a year ago, despite its growth. I started this a year in a couple months now, so I do have a good amount of connections. My connections just are within the writers that I work with and the people that I work with, but they are pretty good connections, I would say. And sometimes a good connection just comes from working with these establishments and all that, and just being a person who does good business because that's who they're looking for these days. Because a lot of people are looking for art events and just to do things art related now, just because it brings in the people. So a lot of the times it's just playing your cards right and just making sure it's the right card. It's all trust.
I feel that. I feel that. So, do you personally like have relationships, like business relationships with artists, and do you guys come to an agreement of here, I'm going to showcase this, or I'm going to help sell this, I'm going to try to sell this piece for you? How does that work?
So I wasn't really connected to anybody just because I did writing, but
Yeah.
I already knew I was in contact with a few writers just because, just to go back in the days, the writing community was basically like a writing community. So you might not have met them motherfucking in your entire life, but you know what? You can message them and hit them up, and it'd be like, "Y'all was talking just because." No, y'all was talking just because you knew each other for forever, just because you're on the same boat, just with a different story. So those are where my original like connections with artists come from, but I never decided to do business with them. There is one I decided to do business with, but it never worked out. not in a negative way. It's just because our timelines with books and all that were just different, and that's just being writers. But then once I started doing my business and working with artists, we actually got to do like business stuff together. Just because I'm selling this stuff, so I didn't really start making connections until I became more outgoing within my processes and how I did things, and that's where my connections came from. I was already connected with some writers just because, yo,
He was a writer.
he
Yeah.
was a writer, and I was selling. And then I already knew one painter off of Instagram, so I said, yo, I just want to buy some paintings. Let's get it. So really, I just started my business just off a hustle, and uh, like they say, money talks, and money does talk. And I learned that money talks. And so my very first connections were already people that I already knew just because they were artists and we were already in contact before. So, but it was nothing really like solid like the way things is now because I wasn't really, working with them directly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
Now that I'm working with my artists and all that directly, and my business is actually business. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm seeing what that shit does.
So originally you had to take the bullet, like by buying it, like right there, like then and there. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs wanting to start their own business?
Uh, Invest in yourself. Because it's true you can't go nowhere within a business situation if you're not willing to invest. Um, nobody's gonna take you serious if it's kind of materialistic when you think about it, but nobody's gonna take you serious if you can't put a little bread up. I was never really someone to talk money until I had to actually talk money. So at the end of the day, the money talks, and that's what really gets things going is the money. Because if you can't invest in the things that you want to do,
Yeah.
you can't get your business started.
And then once the artists see that you have a track record, and then your customers see you have a track record, like you're selling
Get
paintings and
all the
stuff like
track.
that, it all
Exactly.
comes together, and
Yeah.
then it becomes a system almost, right?
Yeah. It all becomes a system. It all then you're like, okay, I could do it like this, I could do it like that. This is what I really want to do. That's when you can see what it is for what it is. That's when you can really be like, oh, okay, now I see what having a business is. You can have the connections, but you can't do nothing until you can invest in what they got going on. You can't have supplies until you could go to a store and buy that supply. You feel me? So it's all about it's about the connections, yeah. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to invest it within yourself. You had to invest that energy, and then the most of it all, you got to invest your money. And if you don't got the money at the end of the day, all you sitting on is just words because we could even look at it, we can even take it there. You can't be a drug lord if you can't have all the drugs.
Right.
And how did they get that? They paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
you could have the business plan, you could have the business idea, you could have the foundation to what you got going on, but until you can invest, and but until you can invest, you don't, all you got is just your idea.
Yeah. Wavering.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing, even though I don't even like to talk about money all the time, because you know me, I don't
Yeah.
be, but you got to invest in yourself, and that's it. And that's the biggest thing that I would tell anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, who wants to own a business, and wants to do all that. You had to be able to invest in yourself, and that LC costs $500 straight up,
Yeah.
and that's
So
a fact.
the next question is, what did having a writing background and being in the writing community, what impact did that have on being in business?
Uh, not I don't want to say not much, but it basically like just I could say that it helped me be more organized within how I did things. because if you want to have a story, you needed to have like some type of muscle tool. You got to have some type of bone. So some of the things that I took from my writing was really like more so on just tricks to the trade, you know? And it's like when you have a job and they be like, when you start a new job and they ask you, what can you, well, so it's like I was saying, it's pretty much just like going to a new job and you listen out all the skills you got from like, oh, I could do this with PowerPoint, I could do this with Excel. So I didn't really take much from my writing just because, it's two different things and it's two different approaches and it's just like a two different completely different lifestyle. When you're writing your book, you're just inside all the time. When you're out doing business, you out there in the field. So when I took what I took from my writing was more like organizational skills. It was more like um taking the skills that I already knew from making connections with people that are way across the world and just attaching it to, meeting people in person. Because if you're able to talk to somebody who's in like New Jersey, you can be able to talk to somebody who's in your city.
Exactly.
So I didn't really take I will say patience. You got to have a lot of patience to be able to write a book.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of patience to be able to want to deal with people. You got to have a lot of patience to be able to deal with just a business because that shit just gets hard, even if you're a local. If you're a local, you got to think of it like 2 years down the line, you actually a CEO of your business and you stand in it. If you can't handle the rain, then don't try to dance in the sun. So really,
Yeah.
I just took a lot of like skills that helped me in the field. I didn't really like take anything special from it. It's just like certain like organization skills.
Yeah, and but I do think that that even still gives you an advantage over most people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I feel like writers have to be organized. They have to have their thoughts together. And as an entrepreneur, I think that that is vital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you wanna actualize your actions. So that's pretty dope, man. Let's talk about some of the art that you got, man. A lot of it has some historical meaning. If you want to show the people, tell the people where they can find it. Um, Arts Core, like let them know.
Well, we could start because we're actually talking about this. We could start with this one. This one is a painting that I have here. Uh, Piano in the Red Sky. This is from actually somebody who I'm pretty cool with now. His name is Demetrius. It's actually right back here. Where
Okay.
the type of context you see, this is all pretty much Brooklyn Renaissance. I almost lost it. It was on the tip of my tongue, but
Hmm.
it's pretty much historical context. It was for the black folks. Because I love us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then this one goes a little bit further back in time where we have two figures looking down.
Yeah.
It's basically World War II context. Is another good friend of mine. This is from the degenerate era from World War II, where Hitler was basically going through Germany and basically getting rid of anything that made Germany seem weak, made Germany seem small, made Germany seem like that they weren't a power at the time. Was That's who they just wanted to be. And then this is called Wildfire. This is from a painter who is actually in Georgia. And
Very nice.
then this is a painting with another Brooklyn Renaissance type aspect to it. It shows basically people dancing, having a good time. And then that's basically the name of the painting. And then these are all the paintings that I accumulated. The painting that I just showed you, the German one, the German style one, that's the most expensive painting that I paid for. I paid $750, and I didn't even pay for all of it just because me and the person just became so close. Funny story is that he's from Louisiana,
Uh,
believe it or not, and yeah, we became so close to the point where I didn't even finish paying everything off. You just let me have it off the love.
that's dope. I mean, hey, look, that's where it comes down to getting connections and actually like cultivating it and not just, you know what I'm saying? Not just, oh yeah, let me get that. You know what I'm saying? Like actually getting to know someone and actually getting and actually be able to do like real business.
It's all
Um,
real at the end of the day.
exactly. What are some of your key takeaways just in general off of this process in the last year? Like, What have you learned about yourself? I guess is the real question.
What have I learned about myself? That is a very good question. Within the business concept and just within the business aspect of things, I realized that I take less bullshit that I want to because a lot of people will try to bullshit you in this game. I'm a lot more patient, surprisingly, just because you need to have patience when you're working with people, just because people have different things going on. So you got to be understanding towards them more than they're understanding towards you sometimes. Um, what else? I actually learned that I'm more outgoing
Really?
than I can be. Yeah, because I never used to be that outgoing person when I was writing the books, just because you're inside all the time. That actually has an effect on you, believe it or not. Just because you're inside, you're really not interacting with people half the time. It's not really even interacting with your own family,
Right.
because you're in your own world, you're in your own space, 24 hours of the day. If you don't have anything going on in your life, and that's just all you're doing. And at some point, that was just me. I was just always in my own space, just doing my own thing. So I really wasn't doing anything, and I barely even hanging out with my own friends at the time. So then when I decided to finally like, all right, let's get this business started, because I just got this business started off an idea. Um, Fun fact, I was in Arizona on vacation at my man's house at the time, where I was like, yo, man, I'm trying to start a business, and I just want to get it going. And he was just one of those up people, you know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah.
just always just going.
Let's
And
go. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much that was and that's his energy all the time. Let's go, let's do it. That's his energy. And at that time, that's the energy that I needed. So when he was saying let's get going, I was supposed to be on vacation, but when I was on vacation, I was knee deep into Squarespace getting my business started. So I was like, you know what, let's go. So
And what a vacation that is. You know what I'm
that
saying?
was it was
I think that's a great thing.
yeah, bro, for like 2 weeks. I was there for 2 weeks. And I'll be by the end of the day, when I get back from doing what I'm doing, I'll be, chipping away at my business. Just because, like let's go. So that's when I realized, once you have that start button, and if you really want that start button to start, you could get it started if you really wanted to. So at that time, I learned that I can really be more self-motivated than I can be. Um,
And it's simple. You just gotta get it. You gotta get the ball rolling. A
you
lot
just
of
got to get
people
the ball rolling, bro.
people get so caught up, but if you just start and then you start building, then it starts rolling. So like, yeah. So that sounds like that was like a transformative period of time for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? On vacation, away from up there in Boston, probably like had a different mindset. You know what I'm saying? When you travel, when you're elsewhere, you don't have the same mindset that you have at home. I guess is
Hell
my
no.
right. So yeah, man. I
Shit,
mean,
actually, if I was still home, bro, I'd probably still sitting down, focused on.
right, chilling. Like maybe one day I'll start that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
no
right? Like,
bullshit.
so that's great, man. That sounds like it was like a life changing, moment. Would you agree?
I wouldn't even say life changing because there's plenty of things life changing. But you know what? What it did change was my view on just hustling. You know what I'm saying? Because people just be like, you got to do something one way if you want to make it to a certain place in life.
Yeah,
They be like, you gotta work this type of job, that type of job, blah blah blah. You gotta do all these types of things in life to just get that house that you want, to get that thing you want, to get that nice car you want. You gotta be working your ass off, and really, it's not like that. And that is wrong to tell people that, especially within a generation where money's just anywhere. Money is anywhere right now. So if you're out here telling me that I gotta work my ass off to get what the fuck that I want, you're out of your fucking mind. Granted, you still got to work because you still got to work to supply your business. But it's just like it wasn't life changing. But what it did change was just like my view on hustling. You
respective,
got
respective.
perspective. You know what I'm saying? You got people like Young Dolph telling you, "Yo, just go on and get it. Just go on and get it. There's money out there. Just go on and get it." Rest in peace to that man, because you know what? That man basically changed everybody's view on how to hustle. You just got to go out there and get it. You
Yeah,
know, take that one, like they say, take that one, turn it to 10. Take that
right.
10, turn it to 100. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
take it and you flip it and you flip it and you flip it. If you could flip it 1,000 times, you might not flip it the way you wanted to flip, But bitch, if you keep flipping it, it's gonna flip the way you want to flip at some point.
Exactly.
You feel me? So it's just like you just gotta do it. You just really gotta do it. And it all seems scary just because you never done it before. But it's like fucking do it. Just do the shit. Just because it's gonna happen at some point. And you know, you just gotta be ready for it when it happens. Just because it's gonna happen. Once you keep working, it's gonna happen.
So let's talk about art's core. Like, how would you describe it yourself? Like, how would you describe it?
I invited you to the live, by the way,
When was that?
just now.
Oh, I'll get on.
You on my podcast now.
That's fine with me. I don't care. But yeah. What do you can you explain art's core?
Art's core is art's core is the slimiest business you could ever encounter. We take your 500 and flip it to 100,000, and you might not get it back.
You funny as a whole lot.
But then, two on.
Let's
Two
talk about
on.
so content. We making content. We making uh. Does writing have any place in it?
So to answer your question, Art's Core really is basically a gallery. Ultimately, in the end of it all, it's a gallery. I just don't have a gallery. I basically do a lot of things for I. So ultimately, what I do is I sell supplies. I organize art events from paint nights to pop ups to the whole nine, pretty much. And that's basically the logistics of it all. But I also sell like books too. So that is where the writing and all that come from, just because that I know that books is still profitable. So that's where my writing comes into place with my business, just because it's still another thing I could use
I feel
toward
that.
what's going on within my business, just because it's still art related. It's within the realm of what I want to do for art.
So that so do you still sell your original books that you wrote back in the past?
Yes, I do actually. I never really changed anything with it. It's still on lulu.com. And it's funny because people ask me, "Oh, is your book on it?" I'm like, "Nah, man. That's not for me. That's for everybody else. You could find my stuff right here."
Right.
Just I like to give. I don't want it to be about me. What I'm doing is for the people
The
who want.
people.
You know what I'm saying? It's for the people. It's for the artists. Granted, at the end of the day, I'm just an artist too. So when I talk about
You
my
like
business,
elevating them though. You
yeah, I
showcasing
always
them,
listen,
right?
man. Like I said, young Dolph, you really did a lot for this business game. And if you really want to do business and really get successful in a business lifestyle, there's certain things that people don't tell you that get you far within it that they will never tell you, just because that might put you at a different aspect than them.
Right.
But within my business, I give the credit where the credit is due. So anytime I talk about my business, I say it's like this. You can get it like here, right here, right here. I Ever since had my business, I have not once brought up the fact I'm an author. I saved that for a different day. That's a question for a different day, because my
That's
business is.
like that's the Batman era. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the
You
other.
know,
That's the other side. You know what I'm
that's the
saying?
other side. We could talk about that later. This is what we're talking about right now.
Right now. Exactly. Exactly. So you guys are also making content, right? I saw a podcast. Can you talk a little bit about that?
What was that, man?
I was like, you guys also. I'm seeing you guys also make content like a podcast. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Actually, to correct you,
No, it's fine.
that's actually a part of my business. That's a part of my business, but it's like that's part of the website.
Yeah.
What I do in person and physical, that's a whole completely different thing. So when we could get even deeper into the topic of putting on and just showing love. That's just because like I just wanted to expand because you could have an art business, you could have an art website. Congratulations, everybody else fucking has that shit.
Yeah.
So what are you really doing? What are you really doing to differentiate yourself from all the other people that already got what you have? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
Hmm.
within my website, I have the podcast from a few different people, just
Yeah.
because I know that podcasts are still a hot topic and what people look for today. So that's one thing I post on my website. It's just a bunch of different podcasts from podcasters that I'm connected with. So and that's a different connection discussion. And even then, I still post services on my website as well, like photography, like editing, stuff like that. So I have my art business, but I decided to like to, to to conclude it and to put a word on it. I expanded it by adding the extra stuff like podcasts and all that, just
I think
because.
it sounds like you making it a community. So it's
Yeah,
like it's a business first, but then it's also a community. So I mean
yeah,
that's
it's
a
like that exclusive. But I also add that exclusive feel to it because you went through my website, you seen that there's not a lot of people on it, so it's like a community. But I also keep it exclusive at the same time, and I'm even making a member page just to like even add to that exclusiveness and even to add to the expansion idea of it.
that's very dope. And yeah, you making it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not just I've seen a lot of like art pages and it's like, oh, like I have this painting and it's like really I guess old school, but your page is actually cool and hip. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So and I think the people when they check it out, we'll put it down in the description. If you guys check it out, man, give Merrick your feedback, man. Give Merrick your feedback. Um, Merrick, how was school? Like, how was finishing up school? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, hold on, let me get some water real quick.
You got it. What's going on, Cam? You got any questions for Merrick here? You can also come on the if you want to come on the Google Voice, I can give you the I can send it.
Oh, tell him pull up.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he gonna pull up though. He just put the fire emojis down.
Oh, I saw that.
Uh, so yeah, I was saying how did school finish up for you?
That was all pretty straight. At the end of the day, I just really wanted to just get up out of there, to be honest. So that was already on my mind. Just like, do what the hell I got to do to get out of here because I've been in here for way too long.
I
So
feel
it's
that.
not straight. All that was straight. Still trying to figure out what the hell to do with this damn degree. But at the end, oh, that's cool though.
That's all part of it, man. I think that's everybody's like, what am I about to do with this now, man? Low key, and I think it's just a newer thing. I think when we were younger, though, I think it was like a big thing, but I think now it's like, dang, like what's going on? It gives you
Yeah,
something, but I don't know what that something is, to be
ain't no
honest.
Riz out there, man.
No risk.
No Riz, bro.
So, have you been like you've been catching up on the internet culture? Anything on the internet scene that's been catching your eye?
Uh, anything on the internet scene that's been really catching my just like just all the different opinions on just how to just run a business or just how a business is supposed to be seen. Music is one thing. Just all the different ways that you be seeing music now. I actually like what I like to do. Fun fact is when I decide to like take an intermission from posting business stuff, what I would like to do is just like scroll through this explore page, put in like business at business things, life things, then put in like music videos, stuff like that, call it intermission. So really anything I really noticed was just, different people like me just doing what they like to do. And at the end of the day, by the end of the day, I'm promoting this stuff. So I will never probably talk to the person, interact with a person. They got nice content, post it up. Because I
I f-
also like attach music to my stuff too, just to add the extra stuff to it. So anything I could post up that's related to what I do, I'll post it.
So that, and I think I do the exact same thing. I look for inspiration on Instagram, and Dude, I'm so glad I was going through the feed and I got to see your story because now we got a few different people that run What's Out on Instagram. So when I saw you, I was like, I gotta hit Merrick up, man. I gotta hit him up, dude. I was like, I was so excited to see like your page and see what you was getting into because I scrolled before I even sent anything. But I'm like, dude, so glad to see him. What are your plans? Like, I don't want to out anything crazy, but like we already talked about the sip and paint, but what are your plans for like the future? If it's a broad statement, that's fine. I'm not looking for anything like specific, but like you know what I'm saying?
Just really just investing, to be honest. Just getting more, just putting my business out there more because I have like a bunch of plans. I got to follow up on a bunch of things, just like get stuff confirmed because that's just what that life consists of.
Yeah,
Just sitting around, just like being patient, just being waiting, just for things to like get back. You get back what you put in it. So that's another thing that I tell people: you get back what you put in outside of keeping it real and just do what you got to do, you get back what you put in. So if you take a lazy approach, a laid back approach, you're gonna get the lazy approach, laid back approaches too. So all I really got going on is these two vending events. I'm trying to secure another paint night because what I've been thinking was just like the vendors and paint nights, back to back nights, just like keep that energy going, keep the train going, just keep my name going because I like doing that a lot.
yeah.
You never not see me not post something. I always post something because that's just consistency, and that's just what consistency takes at the end of the day. Even when you're tired, even when you're down bad, even when you still got to be consistent. So a lot of the things you see me do is just me just keeping consistency and me just keeping my consistency through a storm, through a good day, just through anything. A lot of the things you see is consistency, but what's really going on is just like me just confirming things, getting things secured, getting things in the schedule, really just taking over the summer. Really, that's just really my plan, and that's what I really like to do. Is just take over. They post one thing, I post other like one thing. One Did somebody post one thing, I post three more. When they go to sleep, I'm on my
I'm still
laptop,
posting.
emails exactly, and I'm
Yeah,
still posting. You know what I'm saying? So really, I'm just really just waiting for the energy that I put in to come back. And I'm actually waiting for one pay night to get confirmed. And once a person says they want to do it, then it's on the ball, it's on the go. And that's already 4 events secured for the summer right there. Because so far, I already got 3 going so far.
I feel that. So, uh, are these private events or these public events?
Public, always
Okay.
public. We like them
And
like
would
that.
you ever do private events?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
I'll charge a nice price for it too.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I was like, hey man, get the plug in, man. Get the plug in. Um, yeah, but what I was also gonna say perseverance and consistency is one of the big things that like is the real like factor that like is between like successful people and then not like so successful people in business. So, I mean, you've got what it takes. Obviously, it's just about weathering them storms when the storms hit and not getting too high when the highs get
You
lit.
gotta keep
Right.
yourself level, yeah, because when you get too high, boy, you could get content. And at some point, I was at a point where I was finding myself content. Where I was just like, man, I gotta get my ass up. You know, you ain't shit just because you did 3 paint nights, man. Get your ass up. Granted, they sold out,
Right.
but you gotta get your ass up.
And it's perspective too, so you still can say like that was a success, right? But like let's keep pushing. We're going for
Because a lot of people are doing better than you, and a lot of people started this shit long before I did.
hmm
So it's like, what are you doing that somebody else hasn't done already?
Now, out of your books, what do you think relates now to like 2023 the most?
Uh, Well, all you know, what you know is there's that one book that's posted that I have. So I guess it can relate just in a way where you really can't trust anybody, and by that you can't trust, the police, you can't trust the officials who run the state, all that, just because they got their hands in something too. So, and that's what really the basis of my book is about,
Yeah.
and just like the police systems and all that stuff being broke, and that's really where I do have a work in progress that I did put to the side. So, working my business is mainly about. So that's where I really harp on the shit that's going on these days. So when that gets done, that's when I can really have word for word what the hell is going on these days, because I actually wanted to harp on that within the work in progress that I have right now. Well,
And I feel that, and once you have something that you have already built, then that gives you freedom from the system, right? Where if you put out that book, then you can put it out there and give it the proper energy it deserves, right? And then you could say your message, like, because that's a message that you're like, you know what I'm saying? That's something that is important to you. That's the reason why you wrote the book, right? I think it would be really good at some point.
What was going on too? So many people, black folk was dying, man. So I was like, I'm ready to something about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, grind, and then you get to be that voice. Anything anything else that you want, any people you want to shout out, like any artists, any people who have been viable in your business so far that have like helped you in any way?
Then really, I gotta thank everybody, just because like I don't think I would be anywhere without the people that I'm working with right now, because I couldn't tell my ass from my elbow when I first started my business. And really, my biggest thanks goes out to the person I mentioned to you earlier, just let's go, because I didn't have that let's go attitude when it came to my business. I just wanted to like think about it, think about it, think about it, talk about it all the time. But then when I really sat down with the man that I told you about, he just said, "Man, let's go, let's do this." And he said, "Let's do this," like he's a part of it. No, he does not play a part in my business at all, but he played a part within my attitude towards my business. And it's just like
He
that.
was the jumper. Your
That jump,
battery was
he put
low.
the life in my heart.
Hmm.
He fucking put the bolts in that no boom that you put in a car. Then after that day, bro, it's like I never looked at business the same. I never looked at anything the same after that.
That's so dope, man. That's so dope. Well,
Really, I gotta
hey,
thank everybody, because everybody helped me get this started. I wouldn't have Pink Nights if it wasn't for the painters. I wouldn't have my painters if it wasn't for them. I wouldn't have anything about business if it wasn't for the people that I worked with. I wouldn't have podcasters. I wouldn't have nobody if it wasn't for them. So really, I started everything, but really everything came where it came to because of them, and just because I had the attitude where it's just like I could do this. You just gotta have that I could do this attitude, just all the time, even when you don't have it, you gotta have it. And
I
that's
feel
just
that.
that's the thing about a business. Even when you don't want to do business shit, you still
You
gotta
still got
do
to do it.
shit. So at the end of the day, so you swim, you either swim or drown. And if you want
Sink
to
or
swim,
swim.
do it. Exactly. Sink or swim. And if you start a business, it's easy to sink just because you don't know where to start it. You don't know what type of approach you want to take to it. So it's easy to get discouraged. So that's another big thing. It's really easy to get discouraged when you have a business. So you just gotta keep pushing, um, and then just stay focused and just believe in yourself and just believe in what you could do. And just like I said, invest. You might not have no money by the end of the day, but that move that you did right now, 2 years down the line, who knows? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that you could do.
Well, Merrick, I'm so very grateful that we were able to get this done. It's been 3 years too long to try to get this done. Um, I want to invite you to our first. We're gonna do our first ever live podcast. I mean, we're doing it live on your podcast right now, but we got a
Oh, I'm on
live
live. Instagram
podcast
live.
on YouTube in the next month. I'll keep up with you, but I really would love to have you on if you're available. We're gonna have some of our favorite guests on, and we're all gonna discuss different topics. And I would love to get your perspective, my brother.
Oh, I'll be there, man. I
All
love
right,
you.
word, bro. Hey, Merrick, man, I'm so grateful to hear from you. And so glad to hear how the business is. Getting into the business, what it took for you to get into the business, and
Oh
where it's
man, I didn't
heading,
even
man.
tell you, bro. One time I seen a whole gallery in New York for free off of that.
Let's talk about that. Whoa, let's talk about it.
So yeah, what really happened was they messaged. Funny thing is, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but sometimes they'll message me from my author page, and then from my author page, I say, "Please go to Arts Court."
Yeah.
Anything business related now, I direct it to Arts Court, just because I want to have that type of energy towards my business. Anything you want to talk about, go to my business page. If you want to say hi or some shit, and you're a business person, Arts Court. I'm just like strictly business.
Yeah.
So there's this one day I was chilling minding my business, and something a gallery director basically messaged me on Instagram from Merrick's books asking if I wanted to join their show. But the thing was, they were just asking for too much money for the amount of time that was being required for them to have it. So I couldn't attend the way I wanted to, but I still attended. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really, it was actually pretty cool. It was a different experience just because I was recognized, and
Yeah.
my work is recognized as a businessman.
Right.
So, and that's another thing about the thing. Like, you never know where this business thing could take you. So if you really want to get into it and you get into it good, you never know what you could do, who you will meet. I went there, bro. I got my I was with somebody, they got in for free. Of course I got in for free, free drink. Of course I got the rose, man. Of course, that's because I had to celebrate something. Got that. And mind you, we was in Manhattan, so it was a pretty decent thing.
Yeah.
So walked around. It was a tight space, but of course, because it's Manhattan, and saw all the work. And really, I realized that NFT was a lot bigger than everybody was making it seem. Like, people are just not getting into this, but that was majority of the stuff there, and that's what majority was getting the attention.
Yeah.
They were having dance shows. Um, the painters were there with their work, just talking to people. It was a whole different experience. And, I still I still have all their business cards too, just because I snatched them up, just because I'm a businessman and I want to work.
Yeah.
So it was just cool to go there from the aspect of not even an artist, but recognized as a businessman.
Right.
And you seen how I do my business. I keep it raw.
Yeah.
I keep everything raw. And you scroll through my Instagram on my arts core, a lot of people would expect it to be, oh, this is my business, da 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 da. Nah, fuck that. I'm showing y'all who I really am, and who I really am is raw. I'm a
Yeah.
raw ass motherfucker. And I post it, and I'm making sure that it's known too. Nothing, I'm raw. And that's what you get them from me when I do it. And that is exactly how I approach my business, because I even approached you like that.
Yeah.
I approached you straight up. I was taking no bullshit neither. So when you look at my page, this ain't no, granted I do my mental health awareness, but no, I keep it raw.
Yeah.
So
And there's nothing wrong with that, dude.
there's nothing wrong with it. Because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? A lot of people keep it like that, and you know what? They part of the 1%. And so it was just cool to be, be the raw person that I am and the way that I keep it, just for people to be like, I want you to come. And, and I think I don't want to say that's a lot of reason people want to talk to me, just because of the way that I keep it. I keep it high, and I keep it real, and I keep certain things in a certain way. And I see it even in business, I intertwine certain things within my business that a lot of people don't expect. So it was just cool for just to be recognized, just not only as an artist, because they
Like
messaged
for
me
you, for real.
for me, because they
Yeah.
did message me for Merrick's books. They
Yeah.
messaged me about my books, but I said, no, that's not even me right now. This is who I am.
And for them to even reach you on there too shows that level of respect. You get what I'm saying? Like
Well, yeah,
you go, oh, so you really are pursuing me in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you actually
exactly.
do want to, continue this. It's not just about the books, or it's not just about you want. You know me as Merrick, like arts core. You know what I'm saying? What I'm really passionate about right now. You know what I'm saying? So I get that.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen a lot of things just off my business alone that you wouldn't see through the aspect of, artists or all that. I could sit down. Just the other day, I sat down with the general manager of the place that I'm going to now. I sat with the GM. You know, you could do a lot of things that you can't do within certain aspects just because you have the title of a CEO.
Right.
So, just me being the person that I am, it just doing certain things is like, wow, this is what this really about. And now I understand when they say you could take that one turn to 10, take that 10 or turn to 100, because it's easy. You just got to play your cards right. And you know what? You just can't be fake. So if this is who you are, you can't go be presenting somebody else. Because once they find out that you a lie, that's your reputation down the drain. So it's better to let people know who the hell you are, so they can make their decision now if they want to keep working with you or not.
Right.
And by the end of the day, if you keep the business good, they could give a fuck less. So at
And
the end
that's
of the
dead
day,
ass.
you know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff that I learned. There's so much stuff that just having a business, just having the title of a CEO gave me, that me being Merrick's books, I would have never seen.
That's so dope.
And
That's
it's
so
the
dope.
truth.
I wish that we could somehow get together that Zoom from 2020, and we could do a before after. but Zoom messed it up. But Merrick, I'm so very grateful to have you on, man. Thank you for just sharing some of your gems in this hour, man. Tell the people where they can find you on Instagram, on your Squarespace. Let them know.
You can find me on Arts Core on Instagram. It's arts core underscore. Then my website is www.artscore.squarespace.com. That's pretty much you can find me at, just because keep it strictly business, please.
My man Merrick, thank you very much, brother. I'm so glad we were able to get this done, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
It has been. Hey, it's been what's out. Peace out, everybody.
But